It's the second day of full-on van life, and I'm headed up to South Carolina to visit a friend and to try and escape some of this Florida heat. But what perils lie before me? Stay tuned to find out. It was my first night out on the road, and now it's my first cooking breakfast on the road. And if it looks a little messy around the cabin, then that's because it probably is. I pulled out all the ingredients I'd need for breakfast, and I'm still figuring out the workflow for cooking and cleaning to make that the best and easiest way. The first night I spent was at the visitor center between Florida and Georgia, on the Georgia side. There were families driving by most of the evening and 2 RVs parked nearby. You can normally tell it's a good place to park if there's a few other people there. You know, safety in numbers and whatnot. Here's a bit more of me in the moment. Forgive the unkempt appearance. First day went great. First night, it wasn't too hot. I just turned the fan on. In fact, even in the middle of the night, I turned the fan off because, you know, it wasn't that hot. Nobody bothered me. No cops came. I was in the visitor center here. It's open 24 hours. I just made breakfast this morning. Made some eggs and some grits with some cheese. Perfect. Awesomely healthy. And it'll give me the protein and the carbs I need to go to the gym. I gotta get used to staring at the camera instead of at me. And we will say goodbye to our nice visitor center campsite and hit the road. You get to join me to sit in traffic because there's an accident. Now, they were doing construction on the main I-75 going through Atlanta. So what I did is I actually went around Atlanta, which is too bad because I would have liked to go back there. I lived there for a while. And, you know, I'd like to see what happens. I haven't been back there in almost a year. Anyway, so I get here, and here's a bunch of... Looks like there was another accident just recently while I was eating lunch at Racetrack. And now we're free again to feel the wind rush by as we listen to audiobooks and podcasts at 1.5 times speed, which is a helpful way to listen to a lot of books more quickly. I'm trying to read 75 books this year, and I think I'm 8 behind schedule now. Driving through Atlanta, and what do you know? I see a billboard, and it's got Gary Vaynerchuk and Tony Robbins on it, and they're live coming to Atlanta 6/29. Now, I'd consider going to it, and I'll probably Google it, but I have a feeling the tickets are sold out. 2 giant names like that, I mean, either of them alone could fill an entire stadium, let alone both of them combined. I have no idea what they're even going to talk about. I mean, I know the general theme, but I would be incredibly excited to go to that. So I'm going to Google that, but I doubt it still has tickets. It's a beautiful day out. Look at that. Look at it all. But that rain cannot keep me down. I'm headed to the gym to do my workout and to take a shower. Planet Fitness is my go-to since most of them are 24/7 and they all have showers. No barbells though, and that's kind of a bummer because I like working out with those. But it's only $20 a month, so I can't complain too much. It also helps that my favorite color is purple. Well, the first adventure is not 24 hours into the trip. I left the lights on when I went to go work out at Planet Fitness it was like less than 2 hours. Anyway, the battery's dead. So luckily I have a friend in the city who's gonna come and help jump my car, and hopefully the alternator will kick in and charge it back up, and I won't have this problem again, God willing. Now, I've had problems with starting this van before, back in Florida. One time it was because I messed up wiring the door lights and they got left on all day, and it killed the battery. Another time was from the starter. I fixed the wires and replaced the starter. Not quite enough material there for a whole video, but this is basically the gist of it. The starter is a small electric motor. When you turn the keys, it turns the engine over, allowing it to suck in air. On the starter, there's a gear designed to fit in the grooves of the ring gear, so when you turn the switch, the starter is energized. There's a little electromagnet inside that then pushes out a rod to meet the flywheel, and then boom, your starter is turning. This spins the engine over, which sucks in air, and then it puts in fuel, which is then lit up by the spark plugs. Combustion engines are pretty cool, but that's about the depths of my capabilities to explain them. You can know it's your starter going bad if when you turn the keys and you keep hearing a click, 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 click noise and it doesn't start. This is going to sound like a joke, but like with most things in life, you can sometimes fix a starter just by hitting it with a hammer. The small cylinder on the starter is called the solenoid, and that's the electromagnet. The easiest way to explain it is sometimes when the starter's old, it can get stuck, so you can jar it loose with a few good hits. Then you try starting the car again, and it's worked for me many times. Lucky for us though, today all I needed was a jump. Thank you again for coming out to jump my car. Thank you. Next time, we'll look at the actual city I was in, instead of just the view from under the van.